I think that's right on. So this is fortunately not such a impactful event, not to say it's not at all, but more impactful weather is coming down the line as this system moves away. Much colder air is going to be coming in probably by the beginning of next week. We'll talk about that. But let's just say goodbye to this one this afternoon. You can see that in Maine, things wind down by 6, 7 o'clock tonight, and then we're all done. Still that northwest flow, which you mentioned, be breezy all night tonight, drying things out. We should be okay, I think, after this one.
So let's talk about the next storm.
Let's talk about the next one. It's going to impact a lot of people. And we've been going all along here for days now, talking about how cold it's going to get for basically the eastern 2/3 of the country all the way to the Gulf Coast.
That's Denver to Boston to Mobile.
That's exactly right. And let's watch how that cold air slides south. This is a map of temperature beginning right now. And look at those shades there of the lavender and the purple. Watch how they kind of roll their way southward. I'm just going to let this go. This is a beautiful animation showing you how fluid the atmosphere is and how it all works.
And here we are in the United States. This is Canada and Alaska.
That's right. So we're looking, that's the North Pole up there. And that by Sunday, the southern extent of the coldest air is going to be right about like that. So it's just going to be getting in to the lower 48, to places like Minnesota, northern Wisconsin. But you know what? That's going to be far enough to allow some snow to work its way into the picture early next week, because right along that boundary between the super cold air and the not yet so cold, there's going to be a snowstorm.
And that's the storm that's going to bring rain into Seattle Sunday, right? That moves across the country.
That's the same one. And as it moves across the central part of the country, it's going to pick up a lot of moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico, throw that and interact that with much colder air, that Arctic boundary that's sliding south, and you blend those two together. And when those two air masses do their dance, they make snow.
So this is not going to be one of those, it's 39 degrees and snowing, early season type of snowfalls, and it just melts away or gathers on your windshield and it's gone with one swipe of the windshield wiper.
Great point. This is not one of those typical early November snows. This is more like a midwinter snow that is going to stick pretty much on everything and could stick a lot. We could get a lot of accumulation out of this thing. Let's time it now beginning Monday morning. Look, Minneapolis, you're being snowed, Wisconsin, South Dakota, northern Michigan, and then maybe even Chicago on Tuesday.
And it looked like a very tight line, gradient between rain, sleet, and snow.
That's exactly right. We're going to have to pay very close attention to where the axis of heavy snow lines up. Right now, it looks like it's going to be basically right along that zone. It could be in excess of 6 inches, primarily Monday and Monday night. But a little wiggle in the axis of heavy snow, that brings other big cities into play. So stay tuned for all the latest.
So Eau Claire could get dumped on.
Could get.
If this is right.
Right. And stay tuned in Chicago. You could get more than this, too. So hang on.
Back to you, Alex.
Hey, it's Bonnie. Well, some of you are getting a preview of the cold and even snow on the way next week. Ahead, where the snow's falling right now.
Currently in our area, 76 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 67. Winds northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, afternoon showers, high 79. Chance of rain, 60%. Saturday night, periods of rain early, thunder possible, low 65. Chance of rain, 70%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
From the Weather Channel headquarters in Atlanta, you're watching Weather Center Live. I'm Bonnie Schneider.
Wait a second, let's see you first. Now,
I'm Bonnie Schneider.
There you go. Hey, and I'm Dave Schwartz. It's a pleasure to have you here today, and it's a polar invasion. Not today, that's coming up late this weekend and next week. It's going to affect more than 2/3 of this country. That's 200 million people when you think about it.
That is incredible. That is most of the country. So get ready to feel like it's the dead of winter, even though it's still fall. And it's going to feel like that in some places for more than a week.
Take a look at Syracuse, New York right now. A rain-snow mix, temperatures in the upper 30s. So even though there is some snow falling, the ground is much too warm and it's just melting. It's just like another rainy day here in Syracuse. Bonnie shows us more on who's dealing with the snowy accumulating.
That's true.
Snow right now.
Well, Dave, you know, it's interesting. We do have some snow falling even today in the Northeast, and it will accumulate in Maine, for example. That's one place where the snow continues. With that said, we have a winter storm warning in effect through tonight, and that certainly includes the city of Caribou. Look at this snow coming into Presque Isle and then northward as well, north of Bangor. It's just all snow, cold enough for that. Then you're seeing kind of bands of spottier snow working its way into upstate New York, into Syracuse, Oswego reporting it as well. At times, we're getting reports of rain, but we're certainly seeing some snow as well further off into areas north of areas of the Pennsylvania border, although it is kind of creeping into northern Pennsylvania. So if you're driving, watch out for that intermittent change where rain and snow kind of change over. We're getting rain as well into parts of New York. Now, looking at temperatures right now, the reason we're seeing that wintry mix is we have current numbers in the mid to upper 30s from Binghamton to Buffalo. That's why we're seeing the changeover. But let's take a look at the storm. We'll put this map into motion. You'll see low pressure work its way further to the north and east, so things improve. The winds get a little bit better, and it gets more favorable, I'd say, by the early hours of Saturday and certainly later on tonight. But in the meantime, we're still looking at snow accumulating. So the forecast calls for snow straight through the evening hours all the way to midnight tonight. And look at the temperature. It drops below freezing overnight tonight, so be careful for roads covered with snow. You can't see where it's icy and where it isn't, so overnight travel definitely treacherous, especially in northern parts of Maine. So a tricky start to the system, but remember, this is just the beginning. It's going to get a whole lot colder for much of the country in the coming week. Dave?
Thanks, Bonnie. Well, coats, hats, scarves today on the streets of Chicago and on people, too. But just wait. You'll need your coldest gear by next week. We have a blast of polar air that'll invade this country. 200 million people be affected by this super big chill that'll blanket 2/3 of the country. Dr. Greg Postel shows us why and how long that polar air will stick around.
Dave, thank you very much. Guys, you know, one way to sort of gauge how cold it's going to be is look where this air is coming from. This is a beautiful animation of, over the next couple of days, the coldest air of all seeping southward from far northern latitudes into the United States, guys. And that's the idea, that the air that's going to be over the eastern 2/3 of the country next week, right, is going to be with us for a while and going to be very, very cold, especially for this time of year. Let's go right now to our maps, because this is probably a cleaner way to show you what I was talking about. This cold air outbreak. Today, this is a map of temperatures across the North Pole. There's the North Pole up in here. Here's the United States. So what we've got here is very cold air, those shades in lavender and purple. Watch this. This is beautiful. I'm going to animate this day by day, and you can see how one lobe of this really cold air skirts the northern tier of the United States through the weekend. And by about Sunday and Monday, the leading edge of some of that really cold stuff is going to be already into northern parts of the United States, and there's another one behind it. I'll get to that in a second, but I want to talk about the leading edge of that boundary, because Sunday and Monday, we're going to see the development of a snowstorm along that boundary as the very cold air and the not yet very cold air interact. And we're going to have a lot of moisture flowing northward out of the Gulf of Mexico, enough anyway to interact with that cold air and bring some significant snow in excess of 6 inches is certainly a possibility, if not a likelihood, in the area that gets the maximum snow. It's going to be a narrow, essentially east to west swath of snow all across the Midwest early next week. I think it's lining up, say, from Minneapolis to Green Bay, just north of Madison, maybe Eau Claire, Wisconsin, across central Michigan. That is going to be the area that is going to be at risk for seeing some significant snow on Monday and Monday night. Let's look at the maps and time it out for everybody. The blues being the snow. This front, that is the cold front that's bringing the much, much colder air south. And you can see that's where the snow lines up Monday morning, 9 a.m. Monday morning. There it is along I-90, 94. Looks like I-80, you might be okay for a little while on Monday morning, but then as we head through the day, the colder air rushes in. A lot of snow shower activity back in here, and some significant accumulating snow continuing across Wisconsin, parts of northern Michigan. And look at this area in pink, too. That is a mixture of rain and or sleet and snow. That could be travel hazard big time. So watch out across this very part of the U.S. on Monday night, and Tuesday. And that's the beginning, really, of this transition toward much colder air and a prolonged spell, really, of winter in the middle of November. This is the swath of maximum snow that we expect. There it is, right across southern Minnesota, central Wisconsin, northern Michigan. Just a little wiggle, though. Stay tuned to all the latest, guys. If this line of axis of snow moves just a little north or a little south, that puts a lot of other big cities in play for big snows. New data will come in. We'll clean that up and just exactly narrow it, who's going to get the most and who's not. But as I mentioned, it's just the beginning. Look at what happens as we go day by day from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Watch the really cold stuff slide southward into the U.S. Look at this. By Wednesday, there it goes. Oh, my goodness. This is really cold stuff. About 20 degrees below average on the temperature anomalies here. So if you think of your average temperature as 40, that may be up here in the northern part of the U.S., you might be 20, 25 for a high. If your normal high is 40, 50 down here across the middle part of the country, subtract about 10 or 15 from that. Not just for one day, probably for a week, maybe even a little bit longer than that on average. So look at Minneapolis. This tells the story. Minneapolis, your average high is 46. Tomorrow through the weekend, next week going on through Monday, look at how cold it is. A long stretch of sub-freezing highs. Not lows, but highs, guys. This is a big-time air mass, more like late December or January than the middle of November. Back to you.
Wow.
I'm hoping this is one of the seasons where we get the super cold air out of the way quick, and then it's like 65 degrees on New Year's Eve.
You can keep hoping.
That's my plan. Hey, feeling the sting of the largest storm on the planet.
One place has that distinction right now, the Aleutian Islands. How high winds can gust in this massive storm.
Hurry! There's a hot offer for heartburn sufferers. Now try Zantac free at ZantacOffers.com. Hurry! It's free this week only. No pill relieves heartburn faster. Get Zantac free at ZantacOffers.com.
Can you start tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we're booked solid.
We close on the house tomorrow.
Tomorrow, we go live, everybody.
It's a day full of promise. And often, that day arrives by train.
Big day today? Even bigger one tomorrow.
CSX, how tomorrow moves.
Pizza Maker, Playmaker.
I can't believe I waited 30 years to put Fritos on a pizza.
Took me 22 years to make it to the NFL.
That's counting when you were just a baby.
Yeah, baby that wasn't playing in the NFL.
That breaks my heart.
Sad.
Beef, chili, cheddar, mozzarella, and original Fritos corn chips. Up your game with the new Fritos Chili Pizza. A large for $12. Add a mega chocolate chip cookie for just $5 more.
Better ingredients, better pizza,
Better football.
Papa John's.
Sundays this winter.
Get down now!
Prospectors, the $1 Million Mountain. Sundays at 9. Premiering December 7th on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 76 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 67. Winds northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, afternoon shower. Saturday night, periods of rain early, thunder possible, low 65. Chance of rain 70%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
See the weather like never before.
Look at this!
Listen to that!
Amazing starts here. The Weather Channel mornings.
Okay, Patrick, one more stop. Let's go base, shark, blitz.
Base, shark, blitz.
When the game's on the line. Okay, this is for the game.
The NFL trusts Duracell Quantum to power their game day communication.
Plug like this, on. Abort, he's keeping it.
Duracell Quantum lasts up to 35% longer than the competition.
right under this tree.
Some things are worth holding on to.
They're hugging the tree.
That's why we got a Subaru.
Was it that tree?
Introducing the all-new Subaru Outback. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Come to Boston Market for a full menu of meals featuring our signature rotisserie chicken, starting at just $6.99. And this holiday season, spend more time with family and friends. Let the holiday experts do the cooking. Only at Boston Market.
Now, right now, we at the Weather Channel are keeping an eye on a fairly unique weather system. Now, Bonnie, it's right behind you here. This is the remains or the morphed structure of a super typhoon that hit the far east. Now it's heading up toward the Aleutian Islands here in Alaska.
And you put that together with cold air colliding, it makes for a monster storm.
Right. It's almost like a superstorm.
Yeah.
It's moving into the Bering Sea near Alaska and producing 40 to 50 foot waves.
That's incredible. Imagine 40 to 50 foot waves. I can't. I mean, to be out at sea.
I mean, a 5-story building. That's how high these waves are.
And you can see the storm.
Didn't move it there. Yes. And when it comes to sheer power, this is among the strongest storms on Earth in recent history.
And meteorologist Chris Warren has a look at that.
Superstorm Sandy, the superstorm of 1993. Typhoon Haiyan, all monster storms. And here comes another.
Look at the eye on that thing.
Former super typhoon Nuri.
Guys, when I mean powerful, we haven't seen anything like this in recorded weather history here with a storm with this kind of pressure.
It has whipped the meteorological world into a frenzy as it transforms into the strongest storm on Earth right now in terms of pressure.
It's got a really special set of ingredients that are put together to make this one monster system. One, we have very strong jet stream energy that's already in place across the region. Winds inside of that jet stream in some places are over 200 miles per hour. Then you add this tropical system coming in that was former Super Typhoon Nuri. It's not a super typhoon anymore, it's a tropical storm, but it's going to blend the energy with that. It's going to blend with the jet stream. When you put those together, guess what you got? You got a monster storm.
The Nuri bomb could set a record for lowest pressure in the Bering Sea, around 920 millibars. Think of it like a golf game, where the lower the number, the higher the score. In this case, the lower the pressure, the stronger the storm.
It's going to be even a lot lower than Superstorm Sandy. This thing is going to have a pressure as low, for example, as Hurricane Andrew, except it's going to be thousands of miles across. Now, the winds in it won't be as strong as Andrew because the pressure is kind of spread out over a large area.
But the waves could be a killer, with heights exceeding 50 feet near the western Aleutian Islands, making for very dangerous conditions for all marine vessels and putting the Coast Guard on high alert.
We're taking the storm very seriously and taking a lot of precautions, pre-deploying aircraft and vessels in anticipation of the storm.
And this storm is so strong that it will help bring cold temperatures into a large chunk of the U.S. for perhaps a week or more. I'm meteorologist Chris Warren, the Weather Channel.
Did you hear that pressure? 920 millibars? On your home barometer, that would be 27.17 inches of mercury. And your barometer doesn't even go that low. That's how intense this storm is right here. Meanwhile, out to the east, it's strong high pressure and cold air coming southward from Canada, bumped by that big super storm out there. The cold air, well, how cold will it be? People want to know, how cold's it going to get? Well, here in the upper Midwest, the cold air comes into Chicago Monday. That 47, oh, that's in the morning. Then we cool down. Tuesday's high, 36 degrees. And then Wednesday, even colder than that. And there'll be snow during that period. Huh? And in the Twin Cities, it's going to get cold and stay cold ad infinitum almost. And the cold air will get into the deep south too. Nashville cooling down 46. Atlanta and Memphis also cooling down. Back to you. Bonnie?
This polar air invasion could last for days. So will it boost colds and cases of the flu? We debunk the myths of the cold next.
Andrew. Rita. Sandy.
Meet Chris, Jackie, Joe. Minor damage or major disaster. When you need us most, we're there. State Farm. We're a force of nature, too.
This is Kathleen. Setting up the perfect wedding day starts with her minor arthritis pain and 2 pills. Afternoon arrives and feeling good, but her knee pain returns. That's 2 more pills. The evening's event brings laughter, joy, and more pain.
What's that, like 6 pills today? Yeah. I can take 2 Aleve for all-day relief.
Really? For my arthritis pain, I now choose Aleve.
2 pills, all day strong, all day long. And now, introducing Aleve PM for a better AM.
What if you could get the performance you'd expect from a full-size music system without the complexity of a full-size music system? Presenting the Wave Music System 3 from Bose. It's engineered with exclusive waveguide speaker technology, allowing this small system to outperform many larger, more expensive stereos. And it includes convenient features like easy-to-use touch-top controls, an improved digital tuner for even better AM/FM reception. Plus, you can set 2 different wake-up times and gently wake up to your favorite music. Add accessories, and this versatile system lets you listen to your iPod or iPhone and charge it at the same time, or enjoy hours of your CDs uninterrupted. You'll even save $50 when you order the Wave Music System 3 by December 31st. Plus, receive free shipping to your door, so you can hear it risk-free for 30 days in your home. Be sure to ask about 6 easy payments with no interest charges from Bose. The Wave Music System 3. Simplicity, elegance, and performance. Only from Bose.
Strange things happen in this area for which we have no explanation.
Sunday night, the Weather Channel unravels a new tale of weather legend.
This is a place where
PCmatic won first place in the Virus Bulletin Rap Test, the most prestigious security competition in the world. PCmatic from the United States outperformed all its foreign competition. This victory is independent, third-party validation that PCmatic is the best at blocking viruses and keeping your computers safe from modern threats like CryptoLocker. At $50 for 5 computers for 1 year, PCmatic is a great value, but PCmatic is much more. PCmatic makes your computers faster and more reliable even after years of use. PCmatic supports Windows XP, keeping it secure and running as good as the day you bought it. PCmatic has a full, no questions asked 30-day money-back guarantee. And PCmatic is supported by Americans whose first language is English. To get top-rated, world-class security that also keeps your computers running great, go to PCmatic.com. That's PCmatic.com.
Trade commissions by going to TradeKing.com/free1000 today. TradeKing.com.
This fall, you've got to watch the Weather Channel mornings.
It will all start with the weather.
The weather's too important to cover in a few minutes.
It's starting to intensify.
Because it's not just about your forecast.
Look at this! Listen to that!
See the weather like never before. Amazing starts here. The Weather Channel mornings.
Currently in our area, 77 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 67. Winds northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, afternoon showers, high 79. Chance of rain, 60%. Saturday night, periods of rain early, thunder possible, low 65. Chance of rain, 70%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Look at live at Nashville, Tennessee, home of Vanderbilt University, among other things. And, you know, you're going to get in on this Arctic plunge here, too. But it won't be till the middle of the week. We're going to have a stellar weekend here. Right now, we're in the mid-50s, but look what happens by next Wednesday. Mid-40s for highs, and that's going to extend all the way to next payday. So Saturday, Sunday in the 50s, Monday and Tuesday in the 60s, and then whoosh, we take a dip. All right, well, let's read some copy. Now, when we see cold snaps like this that our friends in Nashville will have, and Asheville, and take your pick east of the Rockies, anywhere, there's a lot of talk about colds and flu. You know, the kids, well, it's cold. Is there actually a correlation between cold weather and the flu? Well, we asked an expert.
The temperature changes shouldn't make you get sick. For someone to catch a cold or a flu, they have to actually contract a
Is she a
virus.
real doctor?
But very often, if we've had warm days and then it turns cold, you might find your nose getting runny or stuffy. That's something called non-allergic rhinitis, and it can be related to the weather, but it doesn't have to be from an actual virus or an illness. So sudden weather changes should not increase the chance you're going to get a cold.
Non-allergic rhinitis. You know, Bonnie, I think I have non-allergic rhinitis. Look at my nose.
Not allergic.
So if you have or may be sniffling, but it's more likely your coworker or that guy next to you on the train that you should blame instead of the weather. So there you have it. Bonnie, back to you.
Well, the film Interstellar opens today. It's Hollywood's latest sci-fi space epic starring, you guessed it, Matthew McConaughey. Well, McConaughey plays a former NASA pilot summoned back into the spaceship's saddle when planet Earth is in danger of no longer supporting human life. Ooh, sounds like a thriller.
It is a hell of a ride. I mean, on a simple, fun adventure thriller level, it's as big of a ride as you going. On a dramatic level, it'll, I don't care how cold you are, it'll pull your heartstring and maybe pull it wide open. On a science fiction level, it's going further than I've seen another film go.
Kelly Beatty joins us now. He's the senior contributing editor at Sky and Telescope magazine. Kelly, science fiction movies always inspire the possibility of new technology, but how close are we to space travel like that?
Well, on one hand, Bonnie, you know, there is a plan to go visit an asteroid with astronauts that could take place within about 10 years, and that's legit. The downside for this movie is that while science fiction always draws its inspiration from real science, the science of wormholes leaves a lot of holes, if you will, that we don't understand yet.
What are wormholes?
So wormholes, if you want to impress your friends, they're really called Einstein-Rosen bridges. These are thought to be, theoretically, places in the universe where you can kind of short-circuit space and time, disappear in one place and reappear in another. They're only known theoretically. We don't know that they actually exist.
Wow. Well, do you think NASA will continue to lead the charge to Mars or private spaceship companies?
Oh, I think this is something that NASA, and in fact, international exploration is really in the cards. Going to Mars is so expensive that I don't think any one nation would be willing to undertake it by themselves.
Still ahead, if you haven't pulled out the scarves and gloves yet, you're going to want to do that now. An Arctic air mass will be invading 2/3 of the country. Storm specialist Dr. Greg Postel will look at just how low the temperatures will go. That's coming up after your local on the 8th. In the meantime, everyone in New York, they're bundled up and ready for the Arctic blast. In Rockefeller Plaza, the tree standing tall, looking beautiful. Temperature 47 degrees right now. I don't see any skaters on the ice, but of course they're going to head out there now. It's a little warm for that. Ooh, that's a pretty shot. You can see the Empire State Building looking good at Midtown Manhattan. A nice day to wrap up the week. Stay with us.
You're a native New York.
Let's get a head start on the holidays. Let's open something before Christmas. Not that. Those. And of course, a whole lot of these. Let's make merry, along with a few other things. Deck out that. Save all these and spread more of this. That's how to holiday. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Trade in your old lights and get up to $5 off the latest LEDs.
Alaska. There's only one place you can stand on top of the world, experience nature on its own terms, and create a little wildlife of your own. dance to a different drummer, and do something you've never done before. Then just when you thought you'd seen it all, you realize it's only Tuesday. Begin your adventure at AlaskaBeyondYourDreams.com.
Last winter, it was so cold.
We were not prepared.
So this year, we went to Burlington. Burlington's got every kind of coat you can imagine at really great prices. It's a lot of bang for our buck.
Freezing cold winter? Bring it on.
I've always seen No-No on TV, and I always wondered if it worked. And it's definitely, I can see what everybody talks about now.
It's not a razor. It's not a laser. It's No-No from Radiancy, the #1 hair removal system in the world.
It's absolutely no pain.
Can't believe the difference, Al. It's almost hair-free.
No-No gives you no hair with no pain.
Well, I saw it on TV and they said it was painless, right? I didn't really believe it, but now that I'm trying it, it feels completely painless.
And now, No-No is better than ever. Introducing the new No-No Pro. It's up to 35% more powerful. Imagine never having to shave again.
I like a close shave.
Absolutely.
And this is better than that. I mean, it's gone.
No more facial hair. No more embarrassment.
I've always been self-conscious of my hairline, so putting my hair back, this will be perfect for me.
And for that man in your life, there's No-No for him too.
It looks like just like you've got a fresh wax, but like you don't have to go through all the pain.
Call now and we'll send you the cordless No-No Pro in your choice of colors. Featuring an LCD display, it comes with up to 5 treatment levels. Plus, we'll include everything you need to get rid of your unwanted hair. A set of Thermicon tips, specially designed for your face and body. A buffer pad to exfoliate and polish your skin. Plus, act now and we'll send you the No-No travel case as a free gift. And get this, you can try No-No risk-free for not 30 days, but 60 days with our triple guarantee. If you are not 100% satisfied, return it and we'll refund the purchase price, refund the shipping, and even pay the return postage. Try No-No risk-free today.
I need to get myself one of these right now. Absolutely.
For your 60-day trial, go to nonopro.com or call 1-800-955-2390. That's 1-800-955-2390.
I want to find one girl to help my brand to go on.
I'm excited. I'm going to work for DVF.
I'm gonna kill this thing.
There's a lot of responsibility. Maybe more than we were prepared for.
This is an opportunity.
Don't blow it.
House of DVF, Sunday at 10, only on E!
Every Sunday, a new tale of weather legend. American Supernatural, Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live. I'm in the lab where our team of experts is analyzing the strongest storm on the planet right now. It's north of the lower 48, but it will trigger the atmosphere into releasing an icy blast of Arctic air. Details with storm specialist Dr. Greg Postel in just a minute. But first, Dave, you're tracking some snow for the Great Lakes and New England.
Yeah, Mother Nature's really playing hardball here in November, don't you think? And early November. Well, we've had more snow in Maine accumulating. We've had more snow out here in Minnesota and Wisconsin. 1 to 3 inches generally. A lot of that has melted or settled out. And there's another cold front that's blasting through South Dakota at the present time. Aberdeen just gusted to 50 miles an hour. Temperature drops 6 degrees. So it's one after the other. Here's the one, there's the second one, and the third one, Bonnie and her team of experts will get into here in a second. We've had some light rain and snow showers in the Poconos, also Bradford, Pennsylvania, and even 32 degrees. Some icy spots on bridges and overpasses now that the sun is just about set in Pennsylvania. It is set. The sun is down here in northeastern Maine. Rain snowfall totals now up to 6 inches. Winter storm warnings just about over. Now let's go back to the lab. And here's Bonnie.
Thanks, Dave. I'm with Dr. Greg Postel, and we're tracking Arctic air. I mean, this is a monster storm, but it all has to begin somewhere. So let's go there.
Yeah, well, you know, when you talk about Arctic air, polar air invasion, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be wicked cold, and you have to realize where it's coming from to get a sense for just how cold. So let's look at a map sort of looking down at the North Pole beginning right now. And again, here's the North Pole, there's Greenland, there's Canada, and there's the United States. And the contour shading here is temperature. So those shades of purple and magenta, that's really cold stuff, Bonnie, and it's coming, you know,
yeah,
where.
I mean, polar air as far south as southern Canada.
That's right. Watch it as it, day by day, as we go through the weekend, comes south, and then by Sunday, will kind of sort of leak into parts of the northern United States. That's about where the boundary will be on Sunday, and that is cold enough to allow some snow to develop, because right where that really cold air is, and the not yet so cold air down here, that boundary is going to be this focus area for a snowstorm in Monday. How about that?
That's incredible. You can see all that moisture coming up from the Gulf, and riding right along it, we're expecting the snow area to grow and expand from west to east. So a lot of people will be impacted by that snow.
Yeah, when that moisture from the Gulf of Mexico comes and rides up over a really cold air mass, those two dance and you get snow. And that's kind of what we're going to be seeing, a swath, a narrow swath, I think, of heavy snow, maybe in excess of 6 inches in some of these locations. Look, Green Bay, Chicago, Minneapolis, Des Moines.
Yeah, these are all big cities, and a lot of people traveling, doing something fun. Just be careful, because we're also looking at the storm track possibly shifting, and that could impact where we get rain, where we get snow.
This is where we think it's going to be right now, but just a little wiggle in it north or south could mean big differences for some big cities. So let's start out now. Sunday evening, snow will be breaking out across parts of the Dakotas and Minnesota and Wisconsin too, in the cold air on the north side of that cold front. And look, on Monday morning, probably snowing in Minneapolis, maybe snowing hard too. Travel, morning rush, very difficult, I think, in that zone.
Yeah, this will likely impact air travel as well. So if you have a flight booked for Minneapolis, Des Moines, you know, even Rapid City, I think we will see potentially airport delays with all this nasty weather coming in.
All the way through Monday, and then Monday night, Chicago could even get into a wintry mix, or perhaps even snow. The wintry mix would be that pink shade where there's a mixture of snow, sleet, and or freezing rain. And then by Tuesday evening, everything shifts on off toward the east. So how much are we talking about?
Yeah.
How much? Look, we think a swath of heavy snow will be in this darkest shade of purple right along there.
But how much of an influence will the lakes come into play when you're talking about the warmer water temperatures? Could we see bursts of even heavier snow?
You could, but this is not so much going to be a lake enhanced or a lake effect snow event. There may be some lake enhancement, just as you mentioned, but most of this is coming from other sources. It's coming from that strong low pressure moving through. But here's the thing. You were talking about this earlier, Bonnie. You were saying how narrow that swath of heaviest snow is. Look at that. And just a little wiggle, as we said, could change things dramatically, but that's where we think it's going to line up. And I think in excess of 6, maybe even closer to 10 inches of snow coming their way Monday. But we're not done, Bonnie. There's more to the story. Look what happens as we go Monday on into Tuesday and Wednesday.
So this truly, you see the purple here in the map, this is true polar air plunging pretty far to the south. And boy, millions of Americans will be impacted by this major storm. Dr. Postel, thank you so much for breaking it down day by day and explaining to us. We're going to be talking about this for a while, Dave, because it's a prolonged period of cold.
Okay, team, let's go. Everyone on the field. For the past 11 weeks, we've introduced you to some of the best high school football teams in America. And this is the week we wrap up our Friday Night Lightning series. Well, today we head to West Texas, the city, Odessa, home to the Permian Panthers of Friday Night Lights fame. And even though the movie is based on a true story, Hollywood scripted some big changes when it comes to the weather in one very important scene. Our own Jim Cantori explains.
Welcome to Odessa, Texas. Land of big oil and even bigger football. After all, Odessa is home to the Permian Panthers of Friday Night Lights.
Well, I guess there's always a surprise or two in every community.
The 2004 box office hit, based on the true story of Permian's 1988 season, symbolizes the Lone Star State's cult-like obsession with high school football.
Huge stadiums, huge turnouts, and a lot of excitement in and around the games.
It is like a second religion out there, you know. The whole town will be shut down just to watch a Friday night football game.
But what you may not know is how Hollywood left Mother Nature on the cutting room floor. The movie's dramatic finale depicts Permian facing Dallas Carter in the 1988 state championship game, indoors at the Astrodome in Houston. In real life, it was the semifinals played outdoors at the University of Texas in Austin in torrential rain. Hollywood didn't ignore Odessa's intense summer heat. In fact, Friday Night Lights was filmed in hard, desaturated tones to emphasize it. For the present-day Panthers, it's simply a reality.
It's pretty tough, especially in summer workouts, all the conditioning, all the running. It's where they've got to get us in shape.
But it's a dry heat. Literally. With the infamous Texas dry line in place during an average August afternoon. Lower dew points and humidity provide a vastly different feels-like temperature from east to west.
It can be 100, 101 degrees out, and it's not near as bad as it is when it's 95, say in East Texas and in Austin because of the humidity.
Let's go. Hit it. But Mother Nature's grip on Odessa changes dramatically from August to November.
It'll be so hot in the summer, and once you kind of get into the fall and you start getting into the season, it can get cold.
Creating a football season full of variable weather.
You got to mentally prepare yourself to expect anything with the weather.
10 years after Friday Night Lights, the 2014 Permian Panthers embrace their past.
People talk about Friday Night Lights in the book and the movie, and that's all neat and fun and a part of our history and a part of our program.
Well aware of the expectations that come with playing for a 6-time state champion, known worldwide by a movie.
There's a lot of hype and there's a lot of pressure, but it's just our job to try to do our best to live up to it.
A town and its team, molded by the West Texas weather and playing under the most famous lights of Friday night.
And the Panthers take on San Angelo Central tonight at Ratliff Stadium in Odessa. Weather looks pretty good, huh?
Yeah, and the kickoff's at 7:30 Central Time. Looking great.
61 degrees at kickoff time at 7:30 tonight. By the way, in West Texas, they get in on the polar air intrusion Monday night. Yeah? Talk about football weather.
Looking forward to hearing more about that.
Currently in our area, 76 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy this evening with more clouds for overnight. Low 67. Winds east-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, afternoon showers. High 79. Winds southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain 50%. Saturday night, periods of rain early. Thunder possible. Low 65. Chance of rain 60%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
The Dueler tires on Terrence Knighton's truck are engineered to be Bridgestone's best SUV tires, and now they have an 80,000-mile tread-wear warranty.
Guess we're going to be here a while.
First time on a treadmill?
What are you saying?
I'm just saying.
With an 80,000-mile tread-wear warranty, the Dueler tires are Bridgestone's best SUV tires. Go to BridgestoneTire.com to find a Bridgestone dealer near you.
Ring, ring.
Progresso.
It's okay that your soup tastes like my homemade.
It's our slow-simmered vegetables and tender white meat chicken.
Apology accepted. I'm watching you, soup people.
Make it Progresso or make it yourself.
a hot offer for heartburn sufferers. Now try Zantac free at ZantacOffers.com. Hurry, it's free this week only. No pill relieves heartburn faster. Get Zantac free at ZantacOffers.com.
Come to Boston Market for a full menu of meals featuring our signature rotisserie chicken, starting at just $6.99. And this holiday season, spend more time with family and friends. Let the holiday experts do the cooking. Only at Boston Market.
December 7th. Go ahead, mark your calendars. It's the last day you can switch your Medicare Part D plan. We're ready, and we can't wait to switch. What I wanted was simple, the most value for my dollar. So now that it's time, we're making the move to a plan that really works for us.
Make the switch to an AARP Medicare RX plan, insured through United Healthcare. Open enrollment ends December 7th, so don't wait. Call now for a free enrollment guide, which includes a summary of plan benefits and other helpful information, or enroll right over the phone. Discover why AARP Medicare RX Part D plans are so popular with over 5 million plan members and counting. Choose a plan with low premiums or one with no annual deductible and start saving with your first prescription fill.
Plus, we'll be covered at like 60,000 pharmacies. So if we visit our kids in Portland or go anywhere in the country, we know we're covered.
Enjoy copays for as low as $1 with a preferred retail pharmacy network, which includes thousands of pharmacies and retail locations like these. United Healthcare has worked to get low costs for plan members.
I called the moment I heard about it. I even got help picking out the perfect plan for me. So did my wife. It was easy, really easy.
Get ready for a Part D plan that gives you low premiums or no annual deductible and coverage you can be happy with.
December 7th is coming. I'm glad we're switching.
Open enrollment ends December 7th, so don't wait. Make the switch to an AARP Medicare RX plan. With United Healthcare, you'll discover a great way you could save money while making sure you're taking care of yourself. So call now for a free enrollment guide, which includes a summary of plan benefits and other helpful information. Or enroll right over the phone. AARP Medicare RX plans insured through United Healthcare. Call today.
This is a map of the pressure points on my feet.
I had flat feet. I learned where the stress was at the Dr. Scholl's Foot Mapping Center. Then I got my number, which matched the custom fit orthotic inserts with the right support.
Go to drscholl's.com for locations and save $10.
I'm a believer.
The blast of polar air on the way could make for some rough football weather this weekend, and that includes one big game Saturday night.
But we guys love to watch football games, to watch them, not to play in it, to watch them when it's snowing, it's windy, they're sliding all across the field. Paul Goodlow shows us how Ohio State and Michigan State do when temperatures tumble.
We got a huge matchup in the Big Ten on Saturday night. Has national title implications as well. Talking about number 14 Ohio State going into East Lansing, taking on the Spartans of Michigan State. And the weather forecast is cold. Rain earlier in the day, but maybe a few flurries sticking around, but mid to low 30s throughout the game. It made us think, okay, how do the teams deal with cold weather? We look back in the record books here for Michigan State 2 years ago, and temperatures similar to tonight. They actually played 3 games, lost 2 of them. Now, last season, they played 2 games in the cold, won both, but the defense stepped up, holding both opponents to under 7 points. And this season, they only played 1 game so far. Last month in the cold against Nebraska, they gave up a lot of yards, over 320. 282 in passing yards, but they still won in the cold weather. Now, what about the Buckeyes here? Well, we go back 2 seasons ago. They played 1 game in weather like Saturday night's weather, and they did beat Michigan and gave up decent yards, under 300 yards in terms of the defense. 1 year ago, they played 2 games in the cold weather, and they won both of those. And so far this year, last week, they played their first game in the cold weather so far this season, and they won that. Won it big over the Illini and held them to under 250 yards of offense. So, again, Ohio State is 4-0 in the past 3 seasons in cold weather. Michigan State, by the way, is 4-2 in those cold weather games. So in terms of the overall defense so far this year with Ohio State, most of their stats are in the top 20 of the league, and in fact 8th in terms of total defense. So pretty decent stats there. But what about Michigan State? Well, most of those stats are in the top 20 except for scoring defense, but overall defense, total defense, is a little bit better than Ohio State. But based on past performance in cold weather games, with Michigan State giving up a lot of passing yards, well, my actual edge and advantage goes to Ohio State based on the forecast for the game as well as previous performances. I'd say take Ohio State and just 2 points. They're the underdog. I think they'll go into East Lansing and win based on the weather. Back to you.
Great job, Paul Goodlow, tying in weather to potential outcomes in sporting events. Now, here's a look at a game that's taking place in Green Bay. This is NFL. This is the Bears in town to play the Packers. For all you cheeseheads, Sunday at 8:30 is kickoff time. Now, the weather looks good. Wind will not be a factor. Snow will not be a factor yet. Just cloudy skies. So if you're cooking out here in the parking lot, 36 degrees at 6 o'clock. Kickoff time, 35 or 34. And the weather really won't be a player in the game. But if you're planning on staying over in Green Bay, you may have to stay more than one night, because I expect that snow to be in there early Monday morning, and it could be significant. Keep it right here on the Weather Channel. Bonnie, back to you.
Wow, there's a lot of snow coming into many places and brutally cold air. What a week to track. It's your 7-day forecast time. We're starting off with tomorrow. We've been talking about the snow in the Northeast. You may see some snow showers further to the north as well. Not too much of it till we get to Sunday. Then that's the beginning of the cold air coming down. And Dr. Postel was talking about the swath building from west to east of rain and snow and freezing rain and sleet. And you can see it here all the way across Wisconsin, Minnesota, and then through North and South Dakota, as well as Montana. All these places will see very measurable snow, certainly, into the first part of the week. But this is just the beginning. The cold air is plunging southward, and it's going to go pretty far south. A lot of people will be feeling the cold that are just not quite ready for it. Look at Dallas, 49 degrees. That's the high temperature as we go towards the middle of the week. And notice the snow building into upstate New York as well by the middle of the week. Thursday, that Arctic blast is really felt. The high in Billings, 18. That's the high temperature. 31 in Minneapolis. Lows certainly much colder than that. Chicago, you'll be teetering around the freezing mark. And even in New York City with a high of 43, it's going to be quite different than what you've been experiencing. Look at this. It'll stay cold in the Northeast for Friday as well. And lots of snow mixing into the mountains of Colorado as well as Idaho, and rain for coastal Oregon. So quite a week. We've got a lot going on from start to finish. Dave?
Thanks, Bonnie. And we've had a little rain and snow here in Syracuse, New York. But the roads are just wet. Your friend should get home. No problem. Beautiful color and no snow on the ground. That's good news.
Come to Boston Market for a full menu of meals featuring our signature rotisserie chicken, starting at just $6.99. And this holiday season, spend more time with family and friends. Let the holiday experts do the cooking. Only at Boston Market.
All great heroes start somewhere.
Where are we going? How should I know? Live on the flippin' frozen tundra.
From DreamWorks Animation comes the untold story of how 4 brothers became the Penguins of Madagascar. Skipper.
Grab your coconuts and hold them tight.
Kowalski.
We're approaching our target.
Rico.
He's working on a whole nother level.
And Private.
We'll need a diversion.
You're up, Private. You just mermaid my day.
DreamWorks Penguins of Madagascar.
Crikey!
Rated PG, November 26th.
Listen to that!
Currently in our area, 76 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy this evening with more clouds for overnight. Low 67. Winds east-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, afternoon shower. Saturday night, periods of rain early. Thunder possible. Low 65. Chance of rain 60%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
It's here in your floor's crevices that vacuums leave microscopic allergens like these pollens and mold spores. But the Dyson DC65 uses a self-adjusting cleaner head for improved suction on hard floors and deep cleaning on carpets, while powerful cyclone technology captures even microscopic dirt and safely locks it all in here. DC65 sucks up more dust, dirt, and allergens than any other vacuum across carpets and hard floors.
Sir, we're going to need you on the runway.
Theraflu starts to get to work in your body in just 5 minutes. Theraflu breaks you free from your worst cold and flu symptoms. Theraflu, serious power.
Today we're getting record snowfall.
Radars indicate there's been flooding throughout the area.
We're getting hail the size of golf balls. Maglite. Turn your light on, America.
I was out for a bike ride. I didn't think I'd have a heart attack, but I did. I'm Mike, and I'm very much alive. Now my doctor recommends a Bayer aspirin regimen to help prevent another heart attack.
Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen.
You may not be a prepper now, but you will be. Whether the next disaster is man-made or wrought by Mother Nature, you need a plan. WiseFoodStorage.com's emergency gourmet meals are made in the USA, delicious, easy to prepare, just add water, and packaged and proportioned perfectly, eliminating waste and creating a shelf life of...
Mom and Dad told us they had just made their funeral and burial prearrangements. We thought they already had taken care of that. When we learned it was through Beth Israel and Eternal Light, we knew everything would be handled in the most caring and professional way. We realized it would be one of the most difficult days of our lives. It inspired my husband and me to make our own prearrangements so the burden wouldn't fall on our children when that day comes. It's not an easy thing to think about, but I'm so glad we did.
Hey, Matt, what's up?
I'm just looking over the company bills.
Is that what we pay for internet?
Yep, DSL's about $90 a month.
That's funny. For that price with Comcast Business, I think you get like 50 megabits.
Wow, that's fast.
Personally, I prefer slow internet. There is something about the sweet, meditative glow of a loading website.
Don't listen to the naysayer. Switch to Comcast Business today and get 50 megabits per second for $89.95. Comcast Business, built for business.
Free trade commissions by going to TradeKing.com/free1000 today. TradeKing.com.
Sundays this winter. Get down now! Prospectors, the $1 Million Mountain. Sundays at 9. Premiering December 7th on the Weather Channel.
It's a sure sign of winter. Winter. The iconic Rockefeller tree making its appearance in New York City. The 85-foot tree rolled into the plaza this morning on a flatbed truck from Pennsylvania. And you'll take a look now. They're going to put it upright and overlooking the ice skating rink. That's where it stands right now. It doesn't look the same without the lights, and that's coming December 3rd. That's really exciting. Look how big it is when you compare it to a city block. It's just amazing. Well, it's that time of year. Let's go to Dave now. He's in the lab with storm specialist Dr. Greg Postel. Now, they're talking about some snow that has New England looking like winter.
Well, yeah, especially up in the mountains today. Absolutely right, Bonnie. But there's another snowstorm that's going to, it's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, it really is.
In the plains and then out toward the Great Lakes in the Midwest, maybe Chicago, maybe Des Moines.
I think you're right, and that would be about Monday of next week. But you know, we don't really have to wait till then to see any winter weather, because some of it's ongoing right now. I mean, even in down East Maine, it's snowing, northern Maine. But hey, Dave, I'm going to ask you this question. We've been playing this game all day long. This is fun. What is the wind gust right now, Mount Washington?
The wind gust at Mount Washington right now,
6,288 feet.
88 feet, right. There's an observatory. It's gusting to 67 miles per hour.
It was close, 54 knots, which by my calculations is around 61 or 62.
Give me the two. Give me the two.
He's got it. He got it. You nailed it. You nailed it. What? Carl?
That was good.
That was good. I know.
Thank you.
Dave knows this Mount Washington odds.
I'm not as stupid as I look, Greg.
Well, I don't know about that.
All right, now you're going to go Postel on us here, right? Talking about wintry weather.
Let's have a look now. What we've got here is a flow kind of off the lake. So, you know, the lake water temperatures are still pretty warm. So we're mixing the snow and the rain. It's kind of sloppy, mid-30s. Not a whole lot of accumulation expected, but still kind of a wintry scene. But nothing like what we're going to see later on, right?
Please, yeah. Let's play hardball here.
Yeah, let's get this thing out of here. Let's put this storm to bed and all the lake effect snow showers that we'll be dealing with for the next couple of hours as it moves on out to sea. Maybe still some higher elevation snows this afternoon and tonight across northern New England. But as we mentioned, Dave, there's a lot more coming, cold and snow in those locations you mentioned, the upper Midwest. Millions will be impacted. And let's look at a temperature map to show you where all the stuff's coming from.
Okay.
Dave, Friday, we're starting today. What are we looking at here? This is the North Pole, right up there.
Okay.
There's the United States, there's Canada. Look at these shades right here of purple. You know what that is? That's cold stuff, and you know where it's going to. Let's animate this out day by day.
Okay.
Let's look at that. Isn't that really cool how the thing goes whoosh like that? And then by Sunday, you know what? The boundary of it, the leading edge of the really cold air is just about coming in to the northern part of the United States. You know why that boundary is important to keep in mind?
Of course.
That's where the low pressure is going to be on Monday. That's where our snowstorm is going to be setting up right along that edge between the Arctic air and the not yet cold air.
And there will be some inflow from the south on this one, bringing moisture.
There definitely will, and that's going to get tangled up with this Arctic front and get tangled up with the cold air. And when you have that moist air running up and over that cold dome, oftentimes you get snow, and we're going to see that. I think most likely Monday, some Tuesday as well, but these are some of the cities to be impacted.
Right, now those are the generalities.
Those are the generalities.
The cold air's coming, the storm's going to form.
Yep.
Who gets what when? That's what I want to know.
Let's start on Sunday evening. Great question, because we're going to see snow breaking out all across a narrow swath from the northern plains to the Great Lakes. Behind that front, that cold front is the Arctic front, so much colder air behind it.
So this is Sunday night.
Sunday night.
Minneapolis could be snowing.
Minneapolis.
Huron, South Dakota could be snowing.
Rochester, Minnesota. Waseca, Minnesota. One of my favorite places. Eau Claire, Wisconsin, Green Bay, Wisconsin, Monday morning. Rough travel times possibly. This could impact flights, car. I mean, going to work might be very difficult in this region because this is not going to be the kind of snow that we typically see, you know, in November where it melts when it hits the ground. Yeah. This is going to stick everywhere. Cold enough to do just that.
And here comes the low, tracking to the northeast. Does that mean Chicago gets snow? Or a mix or what? What are we looking at?
I think right now we're going with a mix, but watch out. Just a little wiggle in this storm track would bring some snow in Chicago, likely on Tuesday. I would not be surprised if that's going to happen, guys. Here's where the axis of heaviest snow is going to be. You got to look at this. Right in there. Watch out. We're thinking at least 6 inches, primarily on Monday for this snow.
Dr. Greg Postel, thank you.
You're welcome.
Back to you, Bonnie.
Oh, some of you are getting a preview of the cold and even snow. What's ahead for next week and where the snow is falling right now? It's 47 degrees in Chicago. We're covering the...
Currently in our area, 76 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy this evening with more clouds for overnight. Low 67. Winds east-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, afternoon showers. High 79. Winds southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain 50%. Saturday night, periods of rain early. Thunder possible. Low 65. Chance of rain 60%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
From the Weather Channel headquarters in Atlanta, you're watching Weather Center Live. And ready or not, winter is on the way. Now, we haven't had to deal with scenes like this for months. The cold, the snow, the travel trouble, and the scraping. A polar air invasion is coming, and you're going to feel it. In fact, more than 200 million people across the country will be impacted, with even single-digit high temperatures for some. Thanks for watching us today. I'm Nick Walker.
And I'm Kelly Cass. In the lab right now, this polar air invasion is going to be strong, and it looks like it's going to stay here for quite some time. Cold air from Canada will rocket south, reaching 2/3 of the country by the end of next week. And look at that drop. We're talking 40 degrees from the 60s to the 20s in Rapid City and Denver and all across the plains. As I said, right now I'm in the lab with our storm specialist Carl Parker. And Carl, let's talk exactly about what's going to happen, just how cold it's going to get, because I know a lot of folks, this is going to be a shock to the system.
Yeah, it certainly is, Kelly. And that cold air is going to really start to come down Monday, Tuesday, and into Wednesday across the northern plains initially, then through the Midwest, and then down into the south and into the east. And let's begin with a look at where the cold air is right now. Not surprisingly, it is gathering there around the poles. We're getting much shorter days at this time of the year, much longer nights. That allows that cold air to build. And there in pink, what we're looking at is temperatures at about a mile up in the atmosphere, where we see less variation with the daily changes in temperature. And notice how that little area of cold starts to come down Saturday and Sunday, and then really begins to poke in on Monday. And there's a look at the temperatures right now. Now we've got 0 in Yellowknife, so the cold air is already firmly in place in northern parts of Canada. Believe it or not, that's actually, Kelly, a very popular tourist destination, Yellowknife. Yes, because people go for the Aurora Borealis.
I have heard that, actually,
yeah,
yes.
Very popular with the Japanese in particular. And so that's where the cold air is building, and there's a lot of snow cover now across much of Canada. And what that does is a couple of things. During the day, when the sunlight hits that snow, a lot of that radiation is reflected back out to space. We don't get as much absorption as you would on plain old ground. And then in addition to that, that snow also chills the air a little bit more. It acts like a refrigerator. Yeah, so it keeps those cold air masses cold as they're sliding south, and that's a big part of what's going to allow this to be so cold when it comes down.
Maybe not a fridge, but a freezer in this case. What do you think?
Exactly, yeah. and so we've got the cold air coming down again, starting in the early part of next week. A big lobe is going to drop down into the northern plains, and this is where temperatures are going to be 20 to 30 degrees below average. Ooh. So here's a look at Monday. 25 degrees below average in Great Falls, 20 for the high there, 24 in Rapid City. And of course, when you see this kind of a change, and you know, it's going to be really mild on Sunday in a lot of the plains. And when you see a big change in temperature, you get a big change in pressure. Temperature and pressure are completely related. And so when you get that big change in pressure, the atmosphere doesn't like that kind of a change. And what it does to equal it out is it makes a lot of wind. So we're going to see a lot of wind in addition to the cold there in the northern plains.
So we're going to have some dangerous wind chills.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that, especially in the northern plains and up into the northern part of the Rockies. So we'll take it into Tuesday, and the cold air continues to press right down on the east side of the Rockies. So there's that natural barrier right there that keeps all the cold to the east and not moving into the west, where temperatures are going to be above average. Look at that, 40 degrees in Wichita. That's minus 17 relative to average, 36 in Chicago. And then the cold air continues to build down into the Mississippi Valley on Wednesday, 46 in Nashville and 30 in Green Bay. And again, all across this region, it's going to be very windy, and that's going to magnify the presence of that cold.
Talk about a blue norther for a lot of these locations. But yeah, Minneapolis, for example, we've been looking at the highs, but the lows are going to be just brutal, probably.
Absolutely, yeah. We're talking about teens for lows. And then here is your freezing line. And so starting on Monday and going through the following Monday, high temperatures are not likely to exceed freezing. And I'm sure a lot of people there are thinking, with an average high of 46, it's a little too early for that. I mean, come on.
I would agree. I mean, they're built for the heat, right? They've got the heated skyways and all that kind of stuff. But you know, unfortunately, it's not even Thanksgiving, and we're pulling out the heavier parkas already.
It makes you wonder what's going to happen for the next, 5-6 months or so.
A lot of people do wonder that, and unfortunately, the long-range forecasts are just not as reliable, obviously.
No.
So we just have to prepare for this Arctic blast while we've got it.
Exactly. But one thing that we do know is if we get a lot of these, and we get a lot of snow with these, and we're building a lot of snow, it does make it easier for these cold air masses to survive.
Good point.
And so it builds,
perpetuates it.
Exactly. Each one builds. So here's another thing that we want to talk about. This is a low pressure that's going to be coming across the Central Plains. plains and into the Midwest. Going to have plenty of cold air to work with. What we will see is this feed of moisture that moves into the front and comes up into the Midwest. Now, we talked about the differences in pressure. So what you've got here is what's called a pressure slope, and that pressure slope actually lifts the moisture up and over top of that, and that lifting is what creates precipitation. So there's a really good chance that we are going to see a significant snowstorm across parts of the western lakes and the Midwest into the early part of next week. The European model has been pretty consistent about the idea of a stripe of snow from the Twin Cities into Eau Claire and La Crosse, Rhinelander over into the northern part of lower Michigan, talking about several inches of snow out of this thing and a lot of wind to boot. So going to be very interesting next week. It's going to feel like winter.
Messenger's here, right? Let's go to another messenger. Nick Walker is back in the studio with more about the prolonged cold event.
Yeah, please don't shoot all us messengers, that's for sure. It is going to be prolonged, and we're not all going to get it at once, as Carl showed us. This weekend, though, we'll begin to see that Arctic air invasion coming down into the northern plains. Temperatures dropping behind that. Look at this, on into Sunday afternoon. North Platte still in the upper 60s here. Sioux Falls in the mid-40s, Rapid City at 58 degrees. And then you, on Sunday night and on into Monday morning, begin to feel that chill, and what a chill it is going to be. So we'll find ourselves with waking up to some very cold temperatures on into Monday morning. Let's talk about Monday into Tuesday here around Oklahoma City. Monday, a high of 71 degrees by 2 p.m. and then look at the temperatures drop on into Tuesday morning. That's when you really begin to feel that Arctic air into the 30s, near freezing temperatures by the time we get into the morning hours. That polar air invasion making it all the way down into the southern plains here, well below average at Oklahoma City down toward Dallas-Fort Worth. On Wednesday, we'll see those high temperatures not even getting out of the 40s in Dallas. And then on into Thursday, continuing to see that Arctic air invasion, that polar air invasion making its way well into the south. Kelly?
Well, Nick, 2/3 of the country is about to feel that chill, and that includes some of those college football games going on tomorrow. We'll show you which games are affected and how the two teams in a huge game tomorrow have done in the cold before. That's coming up after your local on the 8s. And it looks like a hurricane, but it's not. A storm so big it would almost stretch from coast to coast if it was over the lower 48 states. We'll show you what's happening inside this storm that we've never seen before on Earth.
Hey, Melissa, how cool is it that you can save up to $35 when you open a Walmart credit card account this holiday season?
Super cool.
Hey, with all those great savings, you're going to need a bigger stocking.
I'm way ahead of you. What?
What?
You'll get $25 back when you spend $75 on your new account. Then you can get another $10 when you spend $75 more.
Santa loves me.
How does he feel about me?
He thinks you're okay.
Walmart. More ways to Christmas joy.
Help us help those in need. Bring in a coat to Burlington. Get 10% off our everyday low prices.
Old El Paso frozen entrees in freezers near you. Sundays this winter. Get down now! Prospectors, the $1 Million Mountain. Sundays at 9. Premiering December 7th on The Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 76 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy this evening with more clouds for overnight. Low 67. Winds east-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, afternoon shower. Saturday night, periods of rain early. Thunder possible. Low 65. Chance of rain 60%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Every Sunday, a new tale of weather legend. American Supernatural. Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
The Dueler tires on Terrence Knighton's truck are engineered to be Bridgestone's best SUV tires, and now they have an 80,000-mile tread-wear warranty.
Guess we're gonna be here a while.
First time on a treadmill?
What are you saying?
I'm just saying.
With an 80,000-mile tread-wear warranty, the Dueler tires are Bridgestone's best SUV tires. Go to BridgestoneTire.com to find a Bridgestone dealer near you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm on it. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're covered, Kevin.
Thanks, Melinda.
I have blah blah insurance, so person, come help.
Hey, Grandma. Dad, look who it is.
I see who it is.
6 callers ahead of us, Jimmy.
You're not helping.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. They're to help you anytime, anywhere, anyway. That's getting to a better state.
I've got one shot. Let's go Twins right, 24 stretch.
24 stretch, all diamond. Twins right, 24 stretch. All diamonds on touring.
When the game's on the line,
Hit him with a hard count. See if they'll tip their hand.
the NFL trusts Duracell Quantum to power their game day communication.
They're blitzing up the gut. Get out of the pocket.
Duracell Quantum lasts up to 35% longer than the competition.
Well, we've been telling you a blast of polar air is on the way this weekend, and it's affecting everything from outdoor festivals to college football.
Oh, yeah. In fact, it could make for some really cold football this weekend, and that includes one big game Saturday night. Paul Goodlow shows us how Ohio State and Michigan State do when temperatures tumble.
We got a huge matchup in the Big Ten on Saturday night. Has national title implications as well. Talking about number 14 Ohio State going into East Lansing, taking on the Spartans of Michigan State. And the weather forecast is cold. Rain earlier in the day, but maybe a few flurries sticking around, but mid to low 30s throughout the game. It made us think, okay, how do the teams deal with cold weather? We look back in the record books here for Michigan State 2 years ago, and temperatures similar to tonight. They actually played 3 games, lost 2 of them. Now, last season, they played 2 games in the cold, won both, but the defense stepped up, holding both opponents to under 7 points. And this season, they only played 1 game so far. Last month in the cold against Nebraska, they gave up a lot of yards, over 320. 282 in passing yards, but they still won in the cold weather. Now, what about the Buckeyes here? Well, we go back 2 seasons ago. They played 1 game in weather like Saturday night's weather, and they did beat Michigan and gave up decent yards, under 300 yards in terms of the defense. 1 year ago, they played 2 games in the cold weather, and they won both of those. And so far this year, last week, they played their first game in the cold weather so far this season, and they won that. Won it big over the Illini and held them to under 250 yards of offense. So, again, Ohio State is 4-0 in the past 3 seasons in cold weather. Michigan State, by the way, is 4-2 in those cold weather games. So in terms of the overall defense so far this year with Ohio State, most of their stats are in the top 20 of the league, and in fact, 8th in terms of total defense, so pretty decent stats there. But what about Michigan State? Well, most of those stats are in the top 20 except for scoring defense, but overall defense, total defense, is a little bit better than Ohio State. But based on past performance in cold weather games, with Michigan State giving up a lot of passing yards, well, my actual edge and advantage goes to Ohio State based on the forecast for the game, as well as previous performances. I'd say take Ohio State and just 2 points. They're the underdog. I think they'll go into East Lansing and win based on the weather. Back to you.
Thanks, Paul. Well, the cold is going to be impacting several college football games tomorrow. But, Nick, this is really before the big Arctic blast. So even though it's relatively cold, it's not going to be as bad as next week.
Nevertheless, some of us are going to have to dress for these games. Let's take a look at some of those.
All right, here we are in Illinois, Evanston, Illinois. We've got the Northwestern Wildcats taking on the Michigan Wolverines. And, yeah, those temperatures are going to be in the low 40s. But with that wind gusting as high as 20, yeah, that's going to have you putting on a few extra layers.
That could be a bit of a problem. And no doubt a lot of folks are going to be dealing flirting with cooler than average temperatures, even in Florida. This might be a little bit cool for some of us as the Seminoles take on the Virginia Cavaliers. We're going to see those temperatures fall into the 50s during the nighttime hours.
Well, snow and cold, you might not like those two words, but they're coming.
Yeah, up next, a breakdown of when and where as we track the polar air invasion that will impact more than 200 million people.
If you have moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis like me, and you're talking to your rheumatologist about a biologic, this is Humira. This is Humira helping to relieve my pain and protect my joints from further damage. This is Humira giving me new perspective. Doctors have been prescribing Humira for 10 years. Humira works for many adults. It targets and helps to block a specific source of inflammation that contributes to RA symptoms.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Talk to your doctor and visit Humira.com. This is Humira at work.
Hurry! There's a hot offer for heartburn sufferers. Now try Zantac free at ZantacOffers.com. Hurry! It's free this week only. No pill relieves heartburn faster. Get Zantac free at ZantacOffers.com.
Toenail fungus? Don't hide it, fight it with new FDA-approved Jublia. Jublia, efinaconazole 10% topical solution, is a prescription medicine proven to treat fungal infections of the toenails. Use Jublia as instructed by your doctor. Most common side effects include ingrown toenail, application site redness, itching, swelling, burning or stinging, blisters, and pain. Fight it! Ask your doctor now if new Jublia is right for you.
Chex Party Mix. Easy 15-minute homemade recipes you just pop in a microwave, like caramel chocolate drizzles. Happier holidays. Chex Party Mix.
Shopping online is as easy as it gets. Wouldn't it be great if hiring plumbers, carpenters, and even piano tuners were just as simple? Thanks to Angie's List, now it is. We've made hiring anyone from a handyman to a dog walker as simple as a few clicks. Buy their services directly at angieslist.com. No more calling around, no more hassles. Start shopping from a list of top-rated providers today.
Angie's List is revolutionizing local service again. Visit angieslist.com today.
As light as a crisp breeze, a breath of fresh air. City Furniture presents Trade Winds by Kevin Charles. Our exclusive collection of relaxed Caribbean casual furniture, designed to transform your home into your own private island. Explore Trade Winds today at cityfurniture.com.
What is a vacation? A slice of time, a peace of mind, a break, an escape, that need you want. It's the place you dream of. It's paradise. It's romance. It's choices. All included, all unlimited. Forget what you left behind. Live the now. No schedules, all desires. Night falls, day breaks, you wake up beautiful. Different, connected. Two hearts, one soul. This is the time of your life. This is Sandals. Save up to 65%. Call 1-800-SANDALS.
Call Humana now at 1-866-680-4971.
See the weather like never before.
Look at this!
Listen to that! Amazing starts here. The Weather Channel Mornings.
Currently in our area, 76 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy skies early will give way to cloudy skies later at night. Low 67. Saturday, afternoon showers. High 79. Chance of rain 50%. Saturday night, periods of rain early. Thunder possible. Low 65. Chance of rain 60%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live. It's time now for your winter weather update. I'm Storm Specialist Carl Parker, and snow is ongoing right now in Maine as promised, as well as into northern parts of New York and Vermont and New Hampshire. And there could be a lot more on the way next week, early next week in parts of the Midwest. So we'll begin with the radar picture and take a look at the storm that's now developing right along the coast. The snow is flying up into Maine. We've had about 3 to 6 inches from Caribou into Presque Isle, still ongoing there along 95, 33 degrees right now in Caribou. Then you've got more snow off to the south in the Adirondacks, Tug Hill Plateau. There's a little bit of lake effect getting involved here, so these are lake-enhanced snow showers driving down into Syracuse and Binghamton and back into the western part of New York State, right around Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties. And then into the Midwest, another little disturbance is coming through, and we're getting some snow now in Wausau at 35 degrees. And this is the area that may get hit hard come early next week. Now, before that happens, a weaker disturbance, a second weaker disturbance is going to come through. And with that, we'll get some snow late tomorrow in parts of Minnesota and also Wisconsin, then through the overnight early Sunday. And that's going to be moving into northern parts of Michigan, winding down and moving up then into Ontario and Quebec by the middle of the day on Sunday. So we're thinking a pretty large area of about 1 to 3 inches, a little pocket there of 3 to 5 around the UP of Michigan. But the bigger event is going to be moving in again Sunday and into Monday. The model's coming into a little more agreement today about the idea of this low sliding by through the lakes and then moving out in the northeast. So here's the GFS model snowfall forecast, and it's showing this stripe of snow, and that's coming down through North and South Dakota, right towards the Twin Cities, maybe now to the south of the Twin Cities in particular, more towards Rochester and then La Crosse and Eau Claire and into Rhinelander possibly, and that would be Monday and Tuesday, also there in northern lower Michigan. Now it appears that most of the snow is going to lift up into Canada at that point and will not have as much of an effect in the northeast. And the European model pretty much in the same camp, but showing even more snow there going into Minnesota and also into Wisconsin. Kelly, over to you.
So much, Carl. You know, when the weather is perfect during the spring and summer, it's easy to forget to take care of your car. But if you don't, watch out.
Yeah, you could regret it when winter rolls around. Dave Malkoff talked to a local mechanic to find out exactly what we need to do to make sure our car's ready for winter.
Okay, these are the winter tips you may have forgotten about or never knew in the first place. This is Jim from AAA. I'm Dave. Let's get right into this.
Well, if you ever get stuck, you want to have a safety kit in your car.
We've got one here with a first aid kit inside. We've got a bag of pretzels that's needed, a flashlight, extra batteries, some non-perishable food, and some water. What else do you need?
Your ice scraper.
Last year, people got stuck twice in Atlanta where they didn't expect to be.
And they were stuck in their cars overnight, up to 20 hours, so you need this stuff in your car.
Here's something nobody really thinks about when they think about winterizing their car. What is this?
That's your leaves that come off your trees in the fall.
What would happen if you don't get rid of all these nasty leaves that found their way into your car?
You could get water build up, and you'll get a leak in your car, and also it won't let the air come in to defrost your windows properly.
All right, Jim, this battery's not looking so hot. We got a little bit of corrosion on top of here. What causes that, rust?
No, just the battery itself giving off its energy.
Think about it, taking a wire brush to that, but I'd be scared that it's going to spark.
At home, you could use baking soda and water.
You can use baking soda and water?
Baking soda and water.
I don't know if I'm going to pour baking soda and water into my battery. I'll let you do that. Yeah. You know, the thing with having a $25,000 lift here is you don't get to roll on that little 50s thing under the car. I want to do that.
You want to make sure that this splash shield right here is secure, which this is. You don't want it hanging on the road because it could cause damage.
If that is hanging, you could just get a zip tie and
you could put a zip tie in it
puppy up
if
there.
you have to.
So I know this is a dumb question, but how do you know what is the correct tire pressure for this?
Every car's different, not a dumb question. You go inside the driver's door on the pillar, there's a sticker.
But doesn't it say it on the tire too?
Ignore the tire pressure.
Ignore it? Take a Sharpie and X that out. Jim, thank you so much. Those are good tips.
No problem, anytime.
Right. Back to you guys.
Good point there. I didn't know where that stuff was.
Sharpie markers all over my car.
I love it.
Well, you know, our message is very clear tonight. Cold air's on the way, and the time to prepare is now.
Yeah, St. Louis, Chicago, cold isn't anything new for you, but this next round of Arctic air will be sticking around. And Atlanta, still a few more days before the invasion reaches you, but it's happening.
Ring, ring. Progresso. I can't believe I'm eating bacon-enriched creamy cheese before my sister's wedding.
Well, it's only 100 calories, so you'll be ready for that dress.
Uh-huh.
You don't love the dress?
I love my sister.
40 flavors, 100 calories.